And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As promised, Tyler Carlson, president of, like, the world, right? No, it's that Mohave Electric Cooperative.
That's it. Well, no, just not the president, just the manager. Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing very good. Thank you.
It's been a while since I've seen you.
It has.
Did you have a good holiday?
I had a great holiday.
Excellent. Well, you look great.
Thank you.
So
I'm still standing up.
Well, I'll tell you, last time I talked to you, and I've been trying to keep my ear to the ground on this this whole thing about Phoenix trying to steal our money.
Yes, sir.
How's that going?
That's it's great that you asked, because I just got back last night about midnight. I had left Phoenix about 9 o'clock because this week was our week to meet with all the elected officials throughout the state. And this is all the co-ops, all the rural, and co-ops serve the rural communities. So all the co-ops were there, and we were meeting with the elected officials, and our sole focus was on this patronage capital issue, and our discussion with the Arizona Department of Revenue on whether or not the patronage capital, the checks that aren't cashed by our members, are they as cheatable? Should they be brought to Maricopa County, or should they stay local? And last year we had a bill that ran and almost made it.
Right.
But we're not giving up. So this year we started earlier. We started concepts. We started to try to get a couple of changes in the bill to make some folks happy. The bill's actually, I think, even better than last year's bill. So for us, it's even better. So we've been working really hard, and it's interesting because it just culminated, last week, last Wednesday, just culminated, so it was a very busy week, but I think it was very productive. It was very fruitful.
For those who have not kept up with this, and it comes down to some simplistic terms, that in the event you don't get what you want, monies are going to be swept away, like so many other things in the county and the city, swept away that would be used for other great things.
And that's exactly right.
To simplify.
No, it is very simplified, because we could spend a whole lot of time on the Arizona Department of Revenue and the co-ops. We have a little bit different perspective of what is right, wrong, or what is legal or not legal, and we come from a little bit different perspective, so we will fundamentally agree to disagree with each other. Right. However, the bill is trying to just stop that. So it really doesn't matter who's in charge, or it doesn't really matter what if they got new people at the Department of Revenue. You don't have a new person with a new idea that looks at it. The law would be the law. And we differ with Department of Revenue, but other than that, we have worked since the last bill with the Department of Revenue, and they have worked really well with us. We have a totally different perspective, but the good part is they're working with us to figure out, if this bill passes this way, doesn't this solve all of the issues? So they've been it's been great working with them. Good. Even, and it kind of shows you that you can have folks that, differ in their perspective.
Right.
What you're showing up there is, and this happened just last Wednesday, and this was a culmination. We asked our members, hey, what do you think of this, and would you like to keep the money local? And what you're saying is exactly right. The bill would keep the money local. The bill or the money that now goes for the River Fund, now goes to the Veterans Resource Center, now goes for the folks that we send to Washington, D.C., the Washington Youth Tour, all of that money that stays local will stay local with this bill. It won't be swept back, and it won't be brought back to Maricopa County, I guess. And so that's kind of what you said, which is that's the simplistic deal. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on the technical of what differs between us, our perspective, and the Department of Revenue. It really doesn't matter. We're professionals. We can agree to disagree. We're all professionals. We all have lawyers. We all. You can see something different, but what we're really doing is how do we do something that makes sense for us and that will work, and really ADOR has been working with us on, okay, that will work.
That's encouraging.
Yeah, it is very encouraging. So I don't want this to sound like it's, you know, we're standing back and beating up ADOR, Arizona
Right.
Department of Revenue, even though we fundamentally disagree. We could vehemently disagree on what it is that their perspective versus ours, but if you put that aside, we've been working together. And anyway, you did show something up there a little bit ago, and I think if you can bring that back,
Yeah.
we asked our folks, our members, to ante in with us, yeah, there you go. We anted it, and because what we want to do is we wanted to bring our elected officials in our district actual letters from members, not our opinions, not the board of directors' opinions, and that's myself and our board of directors, and we're meeting with Sonny Borelli, and we're meeting with Regina Cobb. Now they were both big supporters last year of the bill, but we brought letters, and we brought nearly 3,000 letters that we came from our membership here, and we're talking 3,000 from for each of the entities. So there's 3,000 to Sonny, 3,000 to Regina, and 3,000 to Representative Mosley. So we brought them together, and we happened to be able to schedule a meeting with Regina and with Sonny, and they've been incredibly supportive last year, and they're both co-sponsors this year, and early co-sponsors. And when I say they're supporters, they co-sponsored early and they didn't waver. They didn't
Right.
they didn't walk away from us or anything else, and they supported it, meaning that they really took their time on the floor, took their time with the folks that they work with that are in the legislature. They actually worked it, and they really went after it. And what's really amazing about, if you looked at Senator Borelli and Representative Cobb, if you look at them, neither of them are MEC members.
Yeah.
You know, they're not, but they have a real connection to the rural community, regardless, and so they took up. The Mohave Electric members, we're a fairly good sized constituency of all the reps, and we are. But it wasn't personal to them because
Right.
they're not Mohave Electric members,
Right.
but they acted as if it was personal. And so we, as you saw there, last Wednesday, we walked in, we had all the letters, and they were blown away with
Yeah.
each. You saw their boxes of letters.
Look at that. It's crazy.
We had boxes of letters, and each one is signed by an actual member. And it's signed by a member with their address. They're not 3,000 letters signed by me, and so it was fantastic.
Yeah, and this whole thing obviously means, even to put it more bluntly or succinctly, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars to our local economy, to our charitable organizations and whatnot that comes from MEC. If this is lost, so is that.
That's true. That's absolutely right. That's the source of funds for a lot of those activities that help the communities.
Yeah.
And I think that Senator Borelli and Representative Cobb really have that. They understand that. And again, they're not even members. So
Yeah.
and they don't live in the community, but they still recognize the importance of it. And we thought that was incredible. We also brought along with us. Elizabeth Barton, and I think there might be a picture of Elizabeth Barton. Yeah, there you go. There's a picture, and there is Sonny and Regina, and the person on the left is Elizabeth Barton. She went to. She was one of the people that Mohave Electric sent to the Washington Youth Tour.
Oh, okay.
And they spend a week learning how federal government works or doesn't work, but she spent a week back there. So she came with us too, which was fantastic. She came,
Yeah.
so she was able to speak directly to our our elected officials about why that's important.
Oh, how great!
And that was fantastic. And actually, Representative Cobb read a nice statement about her and recognized her, brought her down to the floor
Right.
of the House for
Really?
a while, and then recognized her as being in the the gallery up
Right.
there. But I think that Elizabeth, she was a great representative
Yeah.
of the Washington Youth Tour kids. Because she's 18, so
Yeah.
she's still a kid.
Yeah.
But but that young woman did a really fine job in representing
That's so great.
herself as well as representing that particular community. The other young lady there was from Navapache Electric. She was another youth tour person from Navapache Electric.
Okay.
Her name is, I think it's Mylea McBride from Navapache Electric. So a couple of us sent youth tour people so we could directly speak to, they could speak directly to the representatives about this. And I'll also point out that we've had local elected officials who have grabbed onto this.
Right.
I mean, there are local officials who are
Good.
just waiting to have their chance at going back and speaking to the state folks. And we didn't bring them back this time, but there is a place for them. So. And we really appreciate it. I mean, it was very easy. I think it was very easy for them to understand the issue, and it was very easy for them to jump on board. But it's one thing for it to be easy. It's another thing for them to commit to do it.
Yeah.
So Mayor Brady, we appreciate that, and he will you know. He's one that'll be on there, and Hildy also has volunteered, and she wants to go back.
It's a great platform for them to climb on.
You know, it should be.
Yeah.
It really should be. But it really was easy. They didn't, you know, they just heard the story, and I actually was at a morning Kiwanis meeting, and I was describing this, and Mayor Brady said, at that point he said, look, I want to be part of this. This is not right, and I want to be part of this, so
Great.
whatever I can do. So, you know, you appreciate when the other local officials, you know, jump on
Darn
board.
right.
And I appreciate, you know, there's 3,000 members. That's not an inconsequential number. 3,000 people writing letters. I would challenge that any elected official in the state, when they have a bill or something they're running, can they produce 3,000 letters of support for what they're doing? Probably not.
No.
But that's just from Mohave. That's just from Mohave Electric Service Territory. Those 3,000 letters were our members, the local folks here.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic.
Statewide response probably overwhelming.
Well, statewide response is larger, but kind of not really. Maybe not, because the folks who I'll just say this is that our members tend to be more active and tend to get themselves more involved than probably any other co-op. So our members pretty much lead the way. They
That's great.
when they get upset about something or they're supporting of something, they're right with you, and they're going to support it.
And they get results.
Just do it.
Yeah.
They just do it. So
Fantastic.
we think it's going great. Over Thursday and Friday of last week, I haven't heard the count yet, but I know I'll hear the count at some point, and I'll be able
Right.
to tell you how many people signed on.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and the bill either, you know, it should be introduced very soon, but I know that the bill sponsor, which is Senator Gail Griffith from down the southeast part of Arizona, she's working hard. I saw her on Wednesday working hard, and then Wednesday night she came to our legislative rally. We have a rally that happens after we've met with them, so we spend the whole day down to the legislators, and then we have a kind of a dinner for them, and then we get to spend the evening with them
Right.
and get to talk to them. And Senator Gail Griffith was down there, was where we were at, and she actually had her little tote board and showing who's signed, and she actually
Great.
had the actual signatures right there. So we were able to see she's doing a fine job. She's doing a great job. She's been a great supporter, and obviously lots of folks are, because
Yeah.
lots of folks are signing on. So it is really good. It's not done yet, though.
No.
Obviously, it's not signed. The bill's not signed, and the bill's not. It's not been presented to the governor yet, which is another positive thing. Is that we also worked with the governor's office.
Okay.
And last year they may have had some concerns, maybe last year, but this year we worked with the governor's office. They want this to work for us too. They want, you know, the governor's office is very focused on the rural communities, and the governor's office really would like a solution to this, and a solution that the rural communities are open for. So the governor's office, Governor Ducey's, their office has been involved in it too. So they're on board with what it is that we have produced there. So
Yeah, I got to tell you, and
we worked our butts off over the last
sure you
6
have.
months to get this happen, and we're working with a lot of good people. And so we've got a lot of folks who who really, you got to say it, they are listening to the rural communities issue in this particular case. And part of that, although, is, our constituents. When they're writing letters and writing emails and, yelling on the phone, whatever it is, it's very, very incredibly helpful. And that leads me to another little part, is that, as I said, we're not done. So as the bill is introduced and keeps going, we'll have today, there's another little slide to put up, we'll have on our website, there's a call to action. So if you click on this particular call to action, you're going to see this. And what it does, it gives you a step-by-step way in which you can contact Sonny, you can contact Regina, you can contact Representative Mosley. We give you all of the information. We give you their Facebook, we give you their Twitter, their Instagram, so you can certainly contact them. And please do. It is on our site. And please, when you do, please make sure you get that hashtag, which I don't know what that means. I really have no idea. I am not a techie person, but what my folks have told me is that yeah, there you go, that hashtag thing. Make sure you put that on any contact, because that kind of connects it up to what we're doing. Does that make sense?
Well, it does to the kids in control room.
Yeah, well, it works to my kids too. Yeah. I'm sure they know what all this stuff, but I don't know Insta Twitter or Twittergram or MySpace. I don't know any of that kind of stuff. So, and I don't partake in it.
No, nor do you need to.
Yeah, I really don't. But also on that page, which also was kind of interesting, is that if you want to, you go way to the bottom, and you can scroll to the bottom. If you want to contact people outside of Mohave County, let's say you want to contact people in the Phoenix metropolitan area,
right,
you can click on that, and you can click there, and you can put in a zip code, and you can contact people in Gilbert and Phoenix and somewhere else if you want to. Or you have an ability to influence this if you want to contact it. And there are people. There you go. There are people. Well, that would lead you right back to our folks. But if you put in 85381, that'll get you some other elected officials, and you'll get the elected officials in Peoria, 85381, and that'll get you other elected officials if you really want to. I don't have a street address for you there, but you can contact other folks and say, look, I'm from the rural communities, and oh, by the way, this is important to me. And you may not be my representative.
You're getting them from all sides.
Well, when you want to win, you know me. When we want to win, right? You
go in to win.
You go in to win.
You don't go in to lose.
You don't go in to see if you can do a half-baked job.
Yeah.
You go in to win. You go in to do what's right. And what we're doing is going in to do it right to our members.
Right.
For our members. I mean, the reason why we're so committed to it is this is right for the co-ops, and this is right for our members.
Right.
It's not right for the members for the money to be swept out.
Yeah.
It's just not. And I think that general concept of sweeping the money resonates with every rural community.
Anymore it does, because it's been happening far too often.
Absolutely.
I mean, it just has. So what is the timeline on this, approximate? I know you can't pinpoint. But
well, since I really can't pinpoint it, but my guess is hopefully before the end of the month, January, the actual bill will be introduced. I don't have a bill number for you yet because it wasn't introduced yet.
Okay.
As soon as it is introduced, we can put it. We'll probably put it on our call to action page. We'll say, and here's the bill number, by the way. And there was a bill number last year, but it doesn't mean it's the same bill number this year.
Right.
But when the bill number comes out, we'll get it on the web page, and then it's the process of getting it heard, getting it out of committees, getting it onto the floor.
Right.
And there's a process that goes on, but it probably could happen as early as end of March, end of April. So hopefully we can get this out, and then once it's out, once it's been voted on, then we're probably going to ask y'all, hey, by the way, let's start contacting the governor's office and make sure he knows that we want this to have happen. So, but again, I don't want you to get the impression the governor's office is resistant at all.
Right.
That's not it. And actually, again, Arizona Department of Revenue is not resistant of our efforts here at all. We just have a fundamental disagreement of how this should work.
So, in essence, what he's saying is, if you do happen to call the governor's office asking for his support, do it in a nice way.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not doing anything wrong at this point. We're not asking, they're not being adversarial.
Yeah.
But they just need to know that we think it's important. And it's the same with everyone at this
Well,
point.
communication once you're at that level, whether it be your governor or legislators, sometimes they are so far removed than what's really going on a lower local level. I mean, they just, and sometimes they have no choice other than not to be involved or know about it because they've got a lot of other things going on.
Absolutely.
So
This isn't the only bill that will be on the governor's desk at some point.
probably not. Probably
And
not.
so you have to kind of when the bills get out, you gotta kind of have to indicate to them what it is and why it is. And we'll have people doing the same thing. We'll have people in Phoenix that are going to be walking this around, going wherever we can, and certainly we'll be contacting Hildy and Mayor Brady, and we'll be contacting them at some point of when's the right time for them to help us by going back and standing in front of the folks back at the legislature in Maricopa County, and we do appreciate everybody's effort. All of you people, all the folks, the 3,000 folks that spent their time doing this. I don't want you. You get to see the outcome, and there you go.
Yeah.
You got to see that 3,000 letters spread on somebody's desk, which does not happen. It's a rarity.
It really is.
That kind of stuff happens, and so our folks, and it does kind of help Sonny and Regina, because it kind of renews their energy to want to get this done when they see that their constituents their constituents are committed, their constituents are involved, and it's not just that we're saying the constituents are.
That's true.
They got signatures and they got addresses and names, and that's their constituents. So.
Wish the best of luck on this one.
Thank you.
And I think it seems like it's being very well handled. I'm excited to see how it all comes out.
We all are, but that's kind of our way. Is that if we think that we're right, we're not going to quit just because we may have lost a little. We may have lost the battle. We think we need to win the war.
Yeah.
And so we just regrouped and went back after it. So.
That's fantastic. I do want to commend you also on, this winter has been relatively mild on your utilities over there.
Yes.
But I did notice the other day, I got a press release from Paul, said that power was out at such and such, and hardly an hour and a half later, boom, it was back on. You guys are on top of it.
Well, that's something that we've made quite a bit of investments over the last few years to kind of get us a different set of technology, that we have a lot better of an idea when we do have an outage of what's out, we can actually at times know what structure is out, know exactly where it's at. We can tell the magnitude of the issue. We can actually look on equipment, and so by the time we are calling people in to go out, we're also mobilizing equipment. So we're also being able to say, well, this is the equipment on that pole. This is the size transformers, the equipment, and so when they get there, they load up the right equipment, and so when they get to the site, they're not investigating typically not investigating what the problem is and what it would take to fix it. They have a really good opportunity, a really good chance of bringing the stuff with them, so you can fix it in a lot short order. So. And
as a dinner favorite, squab, would that be a part of it?
Yeah,
pigeons do cause a problem, don't they?
Pigeons are really. Birds are probably. And I watch the outages. I gotta say, birds are anywhere from 50 to 75% of our outages.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Oh, they are. And when we say birds, we really mean it's typically pigeons.
Yeah.
And people feed the pigeons
yeah.
either on purpose or not on purpose, and they have to relieve themselves. And when they do, they go on the lines, and they that's where they roost to relieve themselves.
Right.
And over time, that buildup creates an outage. So I don't know what to say.
I get so frustrated when I see people feeding pigeons. I mean, it's just like I said, rats with wings is all they are.
It's been my view of them for years. They're disease carriers. They are flying rats. That's what I call them all of my utility career.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just because they cause outages, but they really are
nasty
stuff.
stuff.
But more than that, you feed them. They stay around, and they'll keep coming back, and they are real. It's really hard to keep them from causing outages. So
they do cause problems.
Yes, they do.
Cause problems. I want to thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Always good seeing you. Do we catch everything?
Yeah, absolutely, as far as I'm concerned.
Fabulous.
Sure.
Don't wait too long to come back and see us again, all right? Well, I know I'll be seeing you soon on this.
You will be.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for being here. Michaela, thank you. Chris, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And to each and every one of you, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Until then, have a great day. Bye-bye.
The preceding presentation of the morning show is intended for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the show without the express written consent of TV2 KLBC is strictly prohibited.